So far, it's been CrowCrowd, TSM, FaZe, and Na'Vi to pick up wins today. One more game to go. Can we see someone from the Big Five pushing up there? You've had FaZe, Na'Vi, and TSM. Could there be a Liquid up there or someone else?
I mean, for Liquid, it's not going too bad, to be fair. They're down in 4th with 31 points. FaZe Clan 32. TSM still doing super well. 2nd place for them, but so far, it's all about CrowCrowd. 51 points, 31 kills, top of the board so far for this week. Excuse me, today.
Yeah.
How have their previous days been? So yesterday they came 6th, and the day previously they came 5th. So
not a bad week.
No, not at all. This is really good for the Finns, especially when you look at what they actually had overall coming into this. It wasn't the greatest standing in points and position, but now they're up to 8th.
Yeah, they're on the grind, aren't they? They're starting to look towards the likes of your Raise Your Edge, your NIPs, you know, around that marker, they're starting to get a little bit closer. And if they keep up a game like they just had, yes, they lost out to Na'Vi, but the kills were outstanding.
Overall, I'm just trying to get a kind of grasp on these where points and such have been coming from. Raise Your Edge. There is, within touching distance, there is a world here where they actually knock out G2 from the Big Five and take a seat on the bus and remove their position. They're under 255 points. But then again, both Raise Your Edge and M47. We could be speaking about the Big Six rather soon, because they're all knocking on that door for that top 5 place.
Yeah, it's starting to get interesting. I quite like having teams at the tip-top, the likes of TSM up there, a couple of others starting to get a bit of a cushion. Gives you a little bit of structure, but below that, it's just... it's madness down there. It's the Wild West. Anyone can turn up on a day and really shake up the standings still. Still a little bit of breathing room for the teams to certainly do some damage and put people down. So as the lights dim in the arena and the plane makes its final path for the day, we can have one more winner. This is your time at home. Who do you think's got this one in the bag? Put it in chat. Let me see who you believe in can pick that final game up. Match 45, almost ready to go. Erangel will be our arena. We'll find out who takes the crown.
Let the bloodshed begin. This is it, final map of week number 3. Game number 45. It is go time. And I can see it on the map already. That is a devastatingly brutal playing path for anybody. Even close to Yasnaya and surrounding areas. That even for Liquid, it's still... No, actually, no, I'm talking complete crap there. Not for Liquid at all, excuse
Liquid,
me.
Right.
For people like the Knights and so on and so forth, just past school.
Even like TSM, anyone going like east, let alone northeast, poor old ENCE. They've got a way to go. May just head up to Zaki.
Same change up for M47 as yesterday. They will go to Prim. It's the backup location when it's this kind of playing path. FaZe Clan committed to the cause. So is TSM. They'll go Novo.
I'm looking at Millie Island. That's going to have a little bit more attention than prior. Raise Your Edge down there. FaZe. And it looks like TSM for now. TSM might try and maybe get a car. I'm only seeing... Am I going mad? Oh, no. Rory was right on top of Gustav there flying down. I was like, why don't I only see 3? But they're going to be looking for maybe vehicles. Could long drop to Milter if they need. But ideally, at this point, you never know. It could just hit another Millie circle.
If it doesn't and it goes north for them, there's options to...
Meme review.
Oh my god. Michael's over what is like, oh boy, oh crap lads, I best turn around here. Where am I going? Where am I going? Take your pick. Because for TSM, I suppose they'll have been ready for that to get the vehicles and then go to the usual. I mean, if they're on the northern side of the map and the island, then why not go to Milter? Michael's still confused about what's going on. They're clearly going to get the vehicle at the end of the bridge and then pull back. Oh, that is spicy too, back to back, almost identical as well, with how much shifting more towards the western side.
Yeah, but I guess it's more northern. That's pretty much it. It was, I don't want to say the same amount of the island. The whole of Novo, I think, was in it. It's just cut off, so it is a little bit more out to the west, but it's just got a lot more of the northern island in it. So this is going to be real hard. This is a rough game. Okay,
let's theorize what people do and where people go and the differences from last time. This time round, there's 3 teams already on there. There was nobody on the island whatsoever.
Yes.
Jimbo, I can see in the distance, is already going for it to make sure it's clear. This time, Na'Vi, because they know where teams are, Na'Vi is stationary and staying put. They will come in late game, much later. Say late game, later circle. A couple more minutes, they'll be there. M47's already in Prim. Prim is surrounded by water for a good 80% of it, so you get boats. They're going to be happy. They'll be stealing those boats from Prim. Na'Vi should be stealing boats, unless they take the bridge, stealing boats from the ferry pier. This causes a bit of a knock-on effect. Anyone that's coming down to the coastlines, they're going to have not a great deal to play with. All the way up to the top, Desperado's big old run. ENCE, there's potential to get a boat, bring it all the way down the west coast, pick something else up, but then you have to look towards CrowCrowd, who will also be looking for the west coast boats. You don't want to put all players straight in there and into one, because it's dangerous. Same goes for NIP. You have all these teams that will be gathering all that mobility from the water on the coastal side. There's not a great deal for all the rest of them to be fighting with. All the liquids already across. They've taken the early yellows, and when I say the early yellows, that mean the ones that are closer to the coastline as you come off of the bridge. You can basically just take a very hard turn to the left-hand side, swing it in, and get geared up. SIMSY will continue onwards as well. So they're very aware that FaZe is already over inside the houses, and they've got residency, and clearly they're looking for gear because they're still on the move. G2 will have to run the gauntlet again, and Michael is in the same position as previous. Yes, he got a bit lucky with the gear that was there, having an SLR and a scope to just haunt their dreams and turn them into nightmares coming over that bridge as a single unit. CrowCrowd, that's early. And remember, they only look Gatka, so there's only a limited amount of compounds, so expect these boys to be very undergeared on arrival.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see what they have when they pull up. NOOKIE does have himself the M4 at least, but they did so well last time. I'd love to see them have a similar performance like they just did. It'd be so, so good. Don't know if they're going to have the same opportunity, but again, we'll find out. This time, Liquid very split apart here. Very individual, all got their own sort of individual compounds. It looks like GamerLegion are on towards the lighthouse. We do see 7 heading towards Na'Vi. They're close by. I think the engagement might have begun. A couple of shots maybe exchanged. The Knights heading across the river, just kind of centralizing, taking the boats, maybe just leapfrogging across here. G2 gonna have to consider their move soon as well.
Everyone's committing to the bridge. GamerLegion's over. No damage as of yet. Raise your edge. Kind of overstepping the boundary, to be fair. They're moving out of the actual military base itself and into FaZe's territory. They've been warded off. mxey's put a few shots down and forced them back. N47, the Prim boys are here. GamerLegion's going to be on that hillside as well. Same position for GamerLegion as previous. So if it's M47, I'll have to think about that and remember that the team was set up here in the last game. These boys died on the opposing side, just up north of the military island itself, so not much breathing room this time as they approach the cliff side. Na'Vi has sat back for a hell of a long time, which is concerning, one, not only for them, but for every other bugger that's going to flood towards them. I'm seeing ENCE, Desperados, NIP. They're all driving towards the bridge. And we have 4 very angry Russians that are going to be waiting for them on arrival.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to be able to do from this. Their late game is going to be the interesting one to me. Raise Your Edge did get melee-based drops, so they've opted for ATC. And a couple of shots coming out towards TSM's TSM. I think they're still in the 2-2 here. Yeah, Rory on his way over as well. So we're going to see the first couple of real scuffles coming through, and that's 7 pulling up right on the coast in front of Bjorn.
I can see it on the map, so I'll just give you the information. Senya has disconnected. You can watch this. What's going on? If anything major kicks off, we will, apart from the one-on-ones. But Senya disconnected from the rest of Na'Vi to feed the information back of all the oncoming players, and the rest of his team has set up in and around the bridge. GamerLegion still hunting for points here. Edelweiss definitely damaged and on red alert that someone could be. He's going back for more. He's got his gun away though and he's running. He could get caught with his pants down here. No! Uphill in the face. How much more do you have in the tank?
Cheeky Vertnade. Didn't actually find target, but stop feeding! I mean, it's a bit risky to keep peeking over like that. This is a scrappy battle, isn't it? Not pretty to look at all, just back and forth, really. Looks like GamerLegion have at least kind of stabilized for now. I don't know if there's going to be any other interaction over on that side. I'm still looking at CrowCrowd, who are way out in the water still. Pretty far off, finding their own sort of slice of land. Na'Vi maybe using Senya to scout it out earlier as he was on his own, maybe looking to see if he did see one of these yellows. It does give them a bit of their own territory to go towards, as Liquid already moved down further south.
The problem is, the longer that CrowCrowd's out in the water, the harder it becomes because more teams will start to settle towards that southern edge of Sosnovsk, which they are doing. Yannis didn't have much luck on the bridge on the approach last time round. This time, they do get onto the island. But mxey puts him dead to rights as he tries to rotate around them.
Oh, using the bike like that, it's just rude. Yeah, Yannis not having the best of luck this time around. Erangel not working out for him. However, we can keep eyes on that next circle bit of maneuver. Now we do know that there's far more northern side of the island still in this, so it could be a little bit different for now. It doesn't necessarily have too many problems just yet. If it goes very decisively away from one of these two places, then you're going to see teams shifting around like mad. Now, everyone on the island is somewhat safe. I don't want to say massively yet. Still got a... Oh.
What?
That's
No.
bridge ending. Do it. Give me a bridge ending. I know it really can't happen, but I always want it to.
But think about this. Regardless what happens, there's still going to be water in play. So when we get to number 4, because there'll be a tiny bit of water in, you're going to be able to predict almost exactly where Circle 4's going. If this goes to the north, that's a 50-50 game.
Yeah, it is. It could do. There's nothing...
If it had shifted now to where ENCE are, and we've seen it happen, it's a rarity. But that could hard shift to ENCE, and it could still go onto that. It would be a minuscule of a chance. But I would say there's probably about a 1% chance of it going up. There's still quite a lot of land in. I don't want to knock this out. A lot of land on Sosnovsk. If you're a betting man, you'd be putting it all there. Yep,
that's why most of the teams are there. But if you are a team who's still on the other side of the island, you're going to just maybe bank on this because you can't really do much else. But the pull-ups happen.
Got to hit that shot.
Sadovnik. Oh, it's not like this. Falls into the corner. Already in the building. Leans the corner. Seems the barrel. Oh, he's gonna got Gusta. What, Iro? Oh no! Oh, what is this fight?
He must. You know what? He thought. Don't do it.
Oh my God! What has just happened?
He must have. I don't know if the smoke. Is there a smoke inside there? No, that they're both outside. He must have just not expected it and thought he was going to go for the... I don't know. There's clearly some sort of misjudgment there or misread. Maybe he thought the player was... I don't know. Either way, it was messy. And they've lost 2 for it. They've been punished. TSM. Everything was going so damn well. You got gifted an opportunity there. Missing all those shots on the pull-up of the car. They were kind of gifted an opportunity to get inside. And it went wrong.
I still don't understand how that happens. Miscall, misread, misinformation, simply a misplay. We are seeing teams now utilizing the eastern bridge. ENCE going to head over that way, and as are DA. So at this point, DA still going to have to go into the blue here. Buster, nade comes. Does stay alive. I think he's on the stairwell, using that to, get a bit of high ground, go low, go on a different, level of ground from the nade, so he's safe. As safe as he can be when he's right next door to 2 absolute murderous boys. Rory and Michael waiting that one out, but what a weird bit of play. Anyway, let's kind of catch up with the more prime positions. You're looking at Reciprocity and Na'Vi, slightly over towards the east of the circle, but still good territory. Pokemon a little further off, holding on that big rock that kind of well, not even a big rock, but a rock that kind of faces off the back of the road, and you have a doozy, I think, just off towards the side of the bridge. So good positions to keep eyes on it. A little isolated, so Pokemon and a doozy need to make sure they don't play too individually and peak overly. They don't give away the kill because they're completely unrevivable in my opinion. So they've got to play it smart, play the timing well. NIP heading across, they're just going to risk it for the biscuit on the bridge. come over, try their luck here. CrowCrowd in the south, that's still so much down water and so few compounds. One available in the south, and I think that's about it. You might have a shack up for grabs, but the breaches happen. TSM invading towards Buster. Buster up top, the nades coming through, trying to maybe buy some time, putting down the smoke. Anything he's got here, Michael fancied his odds at that then.
And the thing is, it's such a dirty little bottleneck. They're both going to push this one. The smokes are up. The pre-fire's there. Seven's gone. We got one. We didn't see it, but we got it at least in the kill feed. 16th place for Seven. If they... Let me see what they've done today. Oh, that's... hang on, let me just pull this up. I'm seeing some 16th places already.
And if we look at where the circle's currently residing, oh, we've got to pull up as well. This is going to be Liquid holding back against the Knights. Reels is there, Drayden's there. One is already knocked, though. I think James is your kind of front position point on this. TSM just got wiped, too. Hopefully someone can give us an update on to how that happened. SIMSY and Ibby being called in as backup because the Knights are at the door. Sword at the ready, trying to slice through Liquid. The nades not quite finding their target yet, but now Ibby, SIMSY, both fancying their chances, trying to clear this one out. Drayden and Real still staying alive here.
Whether or not he plays anything long-term, at least with those two grenades, they now know where they're not. So they have information there on the backside, and that's why you're going to probably see the reposition. They'll throw nades now towards the back rooms, but because they've repositioned again, they're just wasting utility here. Trying to find them all out, and they are committing a ton of frags and mollies to take down these two players. You've got to make sure that this is worth it, boys, because that is a lot of economy gone.
But look at the off-angle Reels has got here to support the player on the stairs. That's where they're going to kind of look towards as well. Really
Good
well
shot.
handled by SIMSY, just doing the drive-by on it. Very nicely played. Good dismantle of that positioning. Drayden's position was being held safe by that. You could see the crossfire they tried to set up on it, but Drayden's now left very alone and has very few chances to get this, and he's just missed it all. The smoke's going to keep him safe, but only for so long. James clears it. Liquid hold the compound, all four standing. Now, Reciprocity have to move towards Na'Vi. That was the point I was going to discuss prior to that fight kicking off. Na'Vi on the new circle basically got the perfect side for it. Scoom, though, trying to find a way around here. Use the more southeastern side of it. It looks like Pokemon might have an idea of this.
Yeah, this guy, I was going to say, he'd cycled through, so I think he had the information. That grenade is almost perfect. Scoom, how in God's name are you alive? Steps in at the right time, but now they know his position, and he's going to be damaged. There is an off angle from Shiv with the SLR. That weapon's going to hurt if he finds someone's face. Really quickly, I started it, and I want to just kind of finish it off. Seven, unfortunately, not even making out the top 10 today.
Hold on, we'll have to come back to that because it looks like ENCE just tried to send it right past 2, 3, 4 teams in the south. They just lost out on TRYFFELI on the way. I don't think they lose out on more because they're pulling up right next to G2 if I'm not mistaken. So they could be in, yeah, they have sent it right next to them. And here comes the breach, and actually not too bad. The nade slowed them down though, and now here comes a third party from everywhere. You got N47 piling in on it. You have G2 holding their ground. It's just NELLOZ left, and the slow drive-by from SKUIJKE. Oh, it's not pretty. It's not nice. It's not as bad as what the Brazilians managed to pull off before, but the new circle, again, going to start claiming some lives here.
You had to remind me of that. I'd only just forgotten about it. There's a few shots you can see on the little damage numbers. Been sent Navi's way. They've got a difficult task here. Circle, everyone expected it. Everyone kind of knew about it. The problem is that a lot of people will be sitting back and hoping that it still kind of floods their way. How this one works, basically, when you talk about topography of the map, just a big bloody open field in the middle. Lots of trees, fair play, a couple of rocks here and there. Huge defilade in the central area.
I like NIP's position from this, though. It's going to be busy, but I like it.
I like that they're mobile and they're not inside a compound. Other people will be inside there. The problem is that they have to defend this because this
DA?
is it's the only way to run. It's literally a funnel.
This is a horrible place for everyone.
They're going to an
DA is between NIP, Team Liquid, Reciprocity, and Desperado. So far, it's NIP to find one of them, but it could be a pile-in from so many sides. Yeah, Miraku's there. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a wipe here unless Sixmo can find a bit of room to work. He might have just gotten away with it, but I don't think he's found any safety. Mert's pulled up. He's on his own. This is very uncomfortable for most of these teams. Reciprocity moved across the road, and Na'Vi kind of step for step were waiting already. So Reciprocity having no easy access to this. Good nade, but doesn't find its targets.
Could have been amazing. A bit more of a bounce on it. He could have even grabbed 3. Udyr will bleed out from the wayside. Scoom's kind of safe because no one else is going, actually, no, I will completely shut the hell up, Liquid. They're getting involved in this. They want some kills. Do they push Na'Vi, though? Because Na'Vi have a very advantageous position on them. Is it worth taking this uphill battle? Are they going to overextend and get greedy?
I don't think they can stay on the low ground. Maybe FaZe can get line of sight on it. I'm not too sure if ubah's position. Maybe they could see this. It looks like the tags are coming through. That could be from FaZe. So again, Liquid have to keep pushing.
Low.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice idea. It does mean that they're kind of in a similar position that Reciprocity were just in. But already, you know, Na'Vi had a knock, so they're going to be trying to recover from this. NIP won in the action, so if Na'Vi fall back, NIP get involved. I don't mind it from Liquid. It was probably their best option for now, because the circle is very unlikely to kind of go towards that side. But also, it gives them more control here.
You know what? Na'Vi's attention has been drawn, because Desperado's just put a few pop shots down at them. Shiv does not get the flush, but at least he does, completely does get the flush. Now Na'Vi strike back, it's okay, they've heard some gunfire. Time to get involved in. BestOlOch is responded on. That's a headshot coming out of mxey. Good response to hold the line, laying down in wait.
High ground, there it is. SIMSY, big shot towards Pokemon all the way, but where's the trade back into this? mxey now last man standing, a doozy. Well and truly stands tall, tries to get off a last minute heal, but he knows he is under pressure. mxey turning it on a dime, he cannot do it. Senya is still holding on for Na'Vi. 3 players knocked, but they still stay alive.
There is a possible chance and a possible world that he gets all these members back on the feet. If they crawl towards him, FaZe Clan is too far away to make an engagement on that. Instead, they focus fire towards NIP. They're on top of the hill, they're their next problem. ubah might realize that DA is a 2-man band and potentially just go for it. Failing that, they swing this one to the south and they take the hillside. They caress it. And essentially
Are there 3 players alive for DA?
2. They lost. Did they get so? No way did they get someone up. How did they do that?
Wizards. CrowCrowd in the south working their way around. I do not know how they got it.
Transition,
I'm
right?
pretty sure they did. CrowCrowd on the crash though, pulling up towards G2 this time. Here we go. NELLOZ and ChrizZ ready for the action. NOOKIE looking for a way in, peeking those windows, but you got to be careful. Utility is being logged out. Timmy is just about alive. Lots of damage. Attempting this breach. And there's some big boys waiting, but there comes Tiikzu. NELLOZ goes down, it's on ChrizZ. He gets down 1, he gets down 2. But the utility, the nades were well placed and the revives come in.
It's a banging effort, but the grenade seals his fate. G2 are down and they are out. And you know what? When we're talking about the big 5, raise your edge. They want a part of that. And with G2 going down, if they pick up some frags and a good placement here, they might just enter that top 5 region in the leaderboards.
Yeah, nice spray there from Vard. These nades are so good from NIP as well. Na'Vi forced to fight, and sadly this time not looking so good. I thought FaZe maybe could have third party towards NIP, but it wasn't to be. It might be the Desperados. You can see the steal coming out from Ultra towards BestOlOch. This could be their move. Nice play coming out of the compound, trying to not get stuck into this, but now the return fire comes out from NIP.
A little bit of a yoink, fair play. I'll take the point and retreat on this one. Braexco is actually rocking the old VSS, so whether or not he's just lacking scopes and using
it's
it
just
for the
perfect gun.
I mean, you could just be utilising the built-in 4 times. If he doesn't have Wacky Jacky skin, then I don't want to know. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. DA dead. That's a big rip, boys. Again, and that comes down to ubah just scouting and counting numbers and telling FaZe when it's time to strike. It's one little compound. Really, when you're that open, you are so condensed and compacted, your choices are very limited.
Last man alive for Na'Vi. Pokemon all the way on the run. FaZe had a little bit of a pot shot at it, but NIP are waiting as well. And it'll be ubah to get it. ubah stole that one away. So we do see the other side of things here. CrowCrowd continuing the push. Sweeping past G2. They now set their eyes towards Raise Your Edge, and they are succeeding. 2 kills thus far, but even more waiting. mertgungor gets absolutely destroyed. N47 called into action, but CrowCrowd just do not stop. These boys are relentless. Tiikzu wants some more. mxey, patience, waiting it out. He's hoping maybe he gets gifted a chance here to strike.
The problem is that if he knocks one of these N47 players, this just becomes a hell of a lot more easier for CrowCrowd. The Beryl in the backlines doing the damage up close and personal. This is going to wreak havoc.
Oh, T-Bone's on the steal. Look at that. Mop up the points. That's such a nice yoinking of points. mxey trades it. Raise Your Edge goes down because of this. Now, let's see what CrowCrowd do here. They've actually, I think they've managed to get the revive off. So I think they're back up to 4 here.
He's there, but if they get a nade, that's 2 for 1. Tiikzu has to hold this. Where do they... Oh, if that lands, imagine. You just get a free 2-for-1 from nowhere. Well, they stuck the res, and he's got him back on his feet to almost full health as well. Not many bullets in that, and he's playing with the VSS as well.
Doesn't seem to matter.
Utility looking a little bit rough for the side of...
GamerLegion, Rich. They've got perfect line of sight towards CrowCrowd, so they are now under pressure. Have to move. Tiikzu! What did this guy have for dinner? He's absolutely nuts. T-Bone should have him banged to rights, but who knows at this point. Should have time to get the heel off, but that blue's moving them forward. And look at T-Bone. That angle is just so good, but maybe a little preemptive on that. Nice shot coming in. Good tag. That might buy him some time here. Consider maybe picking him up. Tiikzu. Oh, no, that's not good. He's opted to gift it over to GamerLegion, and it will be... Tiikzu does get Vascu from the grave, but a nice attempt from CrowCrowd.
Smokes are down for MBS, but TomiL still holding. You can see that 24. Will make a hell of a lot of noise from distance again. GamerLegion have got themselves into such a position that they can just see everybody. Even though they're on the edge of the circle, it's a good place to be.
Look at where ubah's pushed up to.
Is it basically just to hold them in?
Yeah, he is absolutely...
Look at the cover fire he's receiving from his teammates. That's sick.
He needs it to, though, as well, because he's going to get a lot of attention doing this, making a lot of noise, and he's pushed out for it. So now the tags come back in. He's down to kind of a one-shot here. Really brave play from ubah, and I like it. It's controlling the southern side, trying to take control away and positioning away from GamerLegion, who might have wanted that down the line. Maybe hoping a bit of a funnel happens between GamerLegion and Desperados and NIP. Could be the case. For now, it's going to be Ultra on the receiving end of the Mini in MBS's hands. NIP still in this one, trying to hold on. Page working their way forward. And 47 down to very few, but doing whatever they can to survive. Very close by to ubah.
I mean, for Page, he knows he's pretty much down and out at this point. So if he can pick up another point before doing so, then it's worth its weight in gold. He'll try and track ubah. Fuzzface has come over to give him that defensive line. It kind of speaks volumes. It reminds me so much of how Na'Vi like to play, just defending each other, getting each other back on the feet, keeping those players. It's so key to their victories and what they do. We speak about a FaZe Sunday. It is Sunday. It is the last map of week number 3.
FaZe. Rich, they have to get rid of Page. There it is.
As you
just happened.
Good call. Because now that frees up that side and allows them to rotate to wherever they want to be.
Correct, and we are seeing that attention in the north coming through. NIP have been a consistent pest towards the Desperados, who I think are down to just SIMSY still standing. You do have Bjorn looking towards that, but now here you see the funnel. FaZe are being crushed upon by GamerLegion, who are about to take 2 fights on 2 fronts. A bit risky, but they have good positioning for it. Bjorn putting down MBS, and that's NIP gone. We're into 3 teams here.
SIMSY could be the one to potentially help out GamerLegion.
Oh, if that nade went through, it'd be all but over. The revive comes in. This is dangerous. Oh, no. Come on. Aitzy's now there. They are ready to go. If they deny one, if they get a knock off the back of this, and there it is, Hamster's gone down. That is a huge mistake. You had to get one of those going through. mxey's going to try and make up for it. There goes Fuzzface, flushed as well. And no pressure from SIMSY. He's just trying to stay alive. He wants maybe the positioning jump. Maybe he can get second place out of this. Let them fight. I'll just go for the positioning. GamerLegion working their way forward as best they can. Have to get past FaZe, but that individual power is deadly, and ubah wants in on this.
It's cooked. It's primed. He knows exactly where he is. Headshot comes in. Grenade to the left-hand side. Puts him down. Bjorn has been hanging back, keeping track of SIMSY. And all this time, his teammates have just been falling one by one. So maybe SIMSY's actually kind of helped out the scenario. Everything seemed to go wrong as soon as the initial knock was responded to by Aitzy. And now mxey just uses this for cover, and they can just push them back.
And look at ubah instantly trying to get territory on the circle. I like this proactive play. Even under pressure, they're clearing. They're trying to get the information as to where they are. SIMSY creeping and crawling closer. He's going to have good vision towards maybe Fex and Bjorn here. I'd love to see where he is in relation. Has he got a glimpse of them yet? Not too sure. Centralizing up, though, Fex and Bjorn are going to be looking towards getting close to the middle of the next circle. Holding it down. And again, it's quite even. SIMSY very close to Bjorn right now, and it's SIMSY. What a bit of timing. And now GamerLegion are down to just 1 player.
It has to be said, they did choke those grenades. Going through that little shack with 2 players in there, when you have 2 nades, such utility is limited now with the update. And to be able to not post them through at the right time, that one little gap, it's a bit of a fumble in my opinion. Any one of those nades would have taken down 2 members of FaZe. They would have had top middle control and potentially won this game. Instead, they were so fixated on what SIMSY were doing to leave one man back. At FaZe, they've just run rampant. You're letting them go. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and that's exactly what they've done with this game.
You have to give credit to GamerLegion for getting here, but then you talk about who can handle pressure in final moments and pull out scenarios like this, it's always going to be FaZe every day of the week.
100%.
You give them an inch, they will take a mile, and GamerLegion gave them enough time to just get their revive off, get the fights going back in. SIMSY being the 4th man here for them in a way, splitting them apart, keeping them under pressure from the northern side, and Fex left to play a little bit of a game of, can I stay alive here? Can I try and maybe bait out SIMSY, get to 2nd place?
I mean, if they'd have hit either one of those grenades, it'd have been a 3 versus 1, and they'd have been going into this final circle with minimum 3 up. Instead, Fex and SIMSY left to fight this one out. Remember, it's not just the point, but it's the placement jump as well. So there's more than just one kill point in this. More importantly, there's a bit of pride as well. I mean, I'd want some revenge if I were Fex.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. Got the right idea. FaZe not being overly aggressive here, maybe still trying to read the scenario, the situation. I think from kill feed alone, they've probably worked out what's happening.
SIMSY,
really well played from SIMSY. He's jumped him a placement. He's denied GamerLegion at all in this one. What a big denial of placement for them, and probably very, very frustrating considering the scenario they had. Now, how big can you go, SIMSY?
This is the story. I mean, he's a bit of a marksman. He can hit those range shots when it times most, unless mxey just plops a grenade on his head and has done. Oh, they must have to be. That can't just be fishing. They must have some kind of information.
He has to be able to isolate one of these players from the 3 alive and then maybe work something out. Very unlikely, and I think he knows it. Still has Molotovs to play with, maybe going for that last-minute utility sweep. Checking towards the likely cover, the trees, the rocks. Nice shot on the first. He needs to stay unscathed. Now can he get a second 1v1? It looks like the answer is no. He's going to be looking towards ubah, but it's mxey with the shots, and surely it's all she wrote. It is FaZe Clan. It looked a little unlikely at times. It looked like maybe GamerLegion had it in the bag, but those nades failed them, and FaZe Clan capitalized.
Absolute nerves of steel. This team is one that is just writing the pages in the history books, and time again do we see them at the top of the charts. They're fantastic individually, but when you put all 4 members together, it's just something special. For now, we're going to throw it down to Sam for an interview with the final match winners.
I'm here with our final chicken dinner winners for today. They were having a big competition here as to who gets to do the interview, because I know you're all so excited to speak to me, right? Nah. Okay. Let's chat a little bit now about what went down there. It worked in your favor, but why the decision to drop our military?
So yeah, we have that as our secondary loot spot basically. So when we can't go Milta Power, we usually go melee base, and so we drop there, and then we have that circle. We've had the same circle a couple of times, and we play it kind of the same way. And this time we just worked better as a team and closed up the game.
I did want to ask, when you saw that circle drop, the second military circle, you landed there, obviously. What was going through the team's mind? What was the conversation that happens here when you see that?
It's just really nice to, for once, have the circle in your favor. Like first time for a long time, it feels like. So just really nice to not have to work too hard for the win.
Two chicken dinners today, and obviously now we are halfway through the phase, midway through. You've got another 3 weeks ahead of you. When you start looking at that leaderboard, the desk calls your team one of the big 5. What sort of practice now goes into it? What sort of prep goes into making sure you stay in that top 5?
We don't really care too much about top 5. We just want to perform like to the best of our ability, and that it's regardless of what placement we are in the, like currently on the leaderboard. So we just try to improve as much as possible and play as good as possible.
That was a very PC answer, because we all know you want to finish in first and do PGC and get that guaranteed spot, but it's fine. I'll let you be PC for now. We'll chat again in week 5. That's it from the floor here. Let's head over to the desk and close up the show.
The chicken dinners here for FaZe Clan to get them finished off for the week as they were able to win out on Sandhawk, and now Erangel here throughout the day. Joining me, Froz and Avenger.
You know
all the time.
You know exactly why FaZe Clan got 2 wins today.
Why?
Because it's Sunday.
Oh, no, not again.
It's FaZe Sunday.
Not that.
Can someone take him away?
Yeah. But, yeah, James is standing here. James, come over, sit here instead of Frost. No, but overall, 4 of our 5 wins today from our big 5.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big. Obviously, FaZe Clan being able to take this, taking 2 wins today is massive for them. CrowCrowd, guys, is kind of the story for me today.
Yeah.
They're winning the day overall and having a massive week just because of this. It's really good to see from these guys being able to kind of step up again, going into their above, consistently above average.
Let's take a look at the highlights here from our final game of the day. Another Millie Circle. 2 in a row.
I mean, we asked for it. I mean, I guess I did. I was missing some kind of military action here, but nice to see from this TSM here pulling up and failing, I would say, on this 7 compound. Yeah. And then CrowCrowd were pushing it and third-partying the fight and completely finishing them off here. That's really unfortunate for TSM. They had a really good week.
Let's be honest, yeah, exactly. A lot of this week has been magical for TSM, apart from that moment, which was awful.
Yeah, I mean, not just this week, but I feel like overall so far, TSM during this phase has showed us a completely new TSM compared to last phase. Even though last phase, it was still very dominant.
And as Dit said, I actually saw him on Twitter say that they had the potential. It just needed to be extracted. So I don't know what he did to extract it. If he had syringes or what he had to kind of extract some of that magic they had. The potential. He did it. But he did do it.
It did it.
He did it.
He did do it. All right, that's bad pun.
Well,
Ratio Edge here, extremely fast, eliminated by CrowCrowd and third party, and with N47 in kind of in a pinch situation. Really unfortunate for them because they're actually in a pretty good spot, but because of this kind of third party and the fight between these 2 teams, it went really bad for them.
MBS getting taken down eventually during all of that, and he would fall. And obviously towards the very end, FaZe Clan, a very strong position for them to be able to clear out the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, they basically just took control over everything. They had 3 players up, and they knew exactly how to play that. They know how to play the end games well, and they just want to take the control and clear out one side by another and making sure you don't lose any people while doing it.
Great stuff from them. The 2 chicken dinners for the day will serve them well when it comes to the overall leaderboards. 3 teams got themselves 0 points, unfortunately. ENCE, Pittsburgh Knights, and Digital Athletics bow out here in the final game of the day. G2 up to the top there for the 3-pointer. Let's take a look at our 1 through 8 as well to really get a tale of the day as a whole, as we do have up towards the top. It is FaZe Clan with 22 points coming in. GamerLegion with 12 points and NIP with 10.
So one thing to take away from this is that we once again had a military circle, just like Game 4 here today.
Yeah.
And you see some of the teams like Liquid, they had 0 points in Game 4, but they managed to salvage that in Game 5 here, getting themselves 6 kills at least, getting themselves 6 points, in other words.
I just noticed on our overall total leaderboard that GamerLegion have had all their 3 weeks are within 2 points of each other. First week, 73 points. Last week, 72 points. This week, 74 points. So it's like extremely pinpointed to around that 72, 73, 74 point mark there. With them having this game here, it's technically their best week, but it's extremely average, and they're really on point here on the 73 point mark overall.
Let's take a look at how things have shaken up from week to week between all of our teams here, as we do have, unfortunately for ENCE, it has been a tough week for them. They will fall down to those relegation spots. However, they have been able to claw themselves out in the past.
In the past, though, but if you look at it right now, you can look up to GamerLegion there on 219 points. That's 19 points difference, but above that, 239, that's a large gap there.
And it's kind of starting to develop, and it's 5 teams that currently is the bottom, as you see here. But the other teams, they're extremely close. Like, from Knights and up to a 7th spot, it's less than 20 points, guys, again.
That's one of the big winners of this week, of course. CrowCrowd, 5 places upwards. Skyward, one would say, with 122 points for the week.
Look at Team Liquid, though. They started this week coming in as #1 here, actually, on the overall leaderboard. They've now dropped down to 4th place with 320 points, and they are 42 points behind of TSM.
I mean, you see it there, 135 points earned for TSM, 77 for Team Liquid. Very big difference for the week.
But for them also, Liquid managed to kind of salvage a little bit today. They had 40 points going in today, but managed to get 37 today. So it was an okay average performance for them, above average performance. So it's important for them to kind of step back and do like this.
Actually, look at 1 to 4 right now. Down from 4th place down to 5th place, it's 56 points.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of points.
A lot of points.
I'm tired.
Quick math.
Quick math is not working right now.
Right.
54. 54.
The divide is very big in that location, and some of these teams are going to have to step it up to try and catch up.
And nearly 100 from TSM and down to G2. Also a big gap for them, so they're really making a caution, putting themselves out of the danger zone. But you don't want to celebrate too early like they did last phase. They're celebrating before the last day, and Night's Day came in, so you need to be consistent and stay.
But we are now halfway through the league, more or less halfway. 3 out of 6 weeks done, and I mean, we're starting to see the segmentation going on here now.
With that last week being a super week, super week.
21 games in 4 days, 5-5-5, the first 3 starting from Thursday, and then 6 on the Sunday, where you can really make a Pittsburgh Knights comeback if you want to.
I'm calling it the Knights effect.
Yeah.
All right, it's the Knights effect, gentlemen. We've coined a lot of phrases this week.
Yeah.
A lot, but it's been fun.
It's
the
been
Big
good
Five, Chicken Dinner World Tour.
Was that this week? Did we do it before?
Chicken Dinner World Tour was
it
Friday,
really
right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've got memory loss, I guess. Here are our 5 winners for the day. CrowCrowd, TSM, FaZe, Na'Vi, and FaZe. Rounding things out for everything. Great day of games, to be perfectly honest. And you've really got to tip the hat to CrowCrowd for their performance throughout the day. It was massively consistent and a treat to watch, actually, because some really big games for them.
I mean, CrowCrowd through this weekend had 122 points in total.
Yeah.
60 of those points came from today.
Yeah, nearly half. That's impressive. And they're overall the second team from this week. TSM slightly beating them with 11 some points. Yeah. So it's good to see some from CrowCrowd to step up like this and really put themselves in back, throw them back into the top 8 and maybe potentially try to throw themselves at the top 5.
Sure.
G2 is sitting in a very uncomfortable situation right now. Yes, they are in 5th, but there's some hungry teams out there, 4 or 5 teams that are looking to take that spot away from them and really put themselves on there. So when they meet them out on the battlefield, they will focus them. They will know, okay, it's G2. This is one of the teams we need to take down because it's that spot we really want.
Highlights for the week, boys? Anything that really stands out, pops out to you?
CrowCrowd's performance this week. Their step up from how hard and rough weeks they've had the first 2 weeks, and then step up like this, taking such a massive week is really big for them. I hope that this is going to happen, but yes, I mean, mxey has been unleashed properly.
I mean, I'd say CrowCrowd as well. It's just impressive what they've done, considering how it looked like them playing from week 1, week 2.
Yeah.
It was kind of very poor performance from what we know and seen them done before. So them stepping back up right now, that's really great to see.
I have 2 that stand out.
Yeah.
First, being back with my boys.
Hey, let's go.
Quids in me. Also, Sam being here, a great job to Sam as well, joining us at the broadcast for all of the interviews. Some of these players can be a bit rowdy sometimes, but she did a great job along the way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in for week 3. We are done, and we will be back next week with more PEL action here for Phase 3. We'll join you next week.